Hi everyone, this is Victor here. In this video, we're going to analyze Unity stock to see if it's undervalued now and to see if it's a great company for long-term investing. At the time of making this video, all the growth stocks are in large corrections. The Nasdaq is down more than 11% from its recent peak. Many growth stocks, especially the ones that are not profitable yet, are down as much as 50% from their recent peaks. And Unity stock has dropped as much as 47% from its recent peak. Many investors want to know, is Unity stock undervalued now, and is Unity a great company for long-term investing? I will answer these questions in this video by covering these topics. First, Unity's business overview. You will learn about how Unity earns its revenues. Second, Unity's 3 long-term growth catalysts. Third, Unity's competition and the 2 biggest risks you must know. Fourth, Unity stock valuation. You will learn about whether Unity stock is undervalued, fairly valued, or still overvalued now. And fifth, will I buy Unity stock? If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. I will continue to make many excellent stock analysis and investing videos every week that will help you become a great investor. Also, if you like this channel and want to support it, check out my Patreon blog in the video description and become a premium member. Our goal is to help all our members grow their stock portfolios to over 7 figures over time. With your support, we'll be able to stay independent, hire other outstanding analysts to cover different stocks, and create many excellent stock analysis and investing videos every week that will help you become a great investor. The link is in the video description. Take a look, let's start. Before investing in stocks, I believe it's important to understand the business first. So what is Unity and how does Unity earn its revenues? Unity is one of the most popular platforms for users to create interactive, real-time 2D and 3D content for smartphones, tablets, PCs, game consoles, and augmented reality AR and virtual reality VR devices. Unity users range from game developers to architects, automotive designers, filmmakers, and creative 3D professionals. The company has 2 business segments: Create Solutions and Operate Solutions. If you look at this here, you can see Unity earns the most revenues from Create Solutions and Operate Solutions. This is from Unity's recent quarterly report. Our Create Solutions are used by content creators, developers, artists, designers, engineers, and architects to create interactive, real-time 2D and 3D content. Content can be created once and deployed to more than 20 platforms, including Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and the leading augmented and virtual reality platforms, among others. Our Operate Solutions offer customers the ability to grow and engage their end user base, as well as run and monetize their content with the goal of optimizing end user acquisition and operational costs, while increasing the lifetime value of their end users. If you play many iOS games or Android games, you may know that most mobile games and many apps are created in Unity. One of the biggest competitive advantages of Unity is that it's used by most mobile game developers who develop games on Android and iOS devices. According to Unity, Unity powers over 70% of the top mobile games on smartphones and mobile devices. Based on my understanding, it's very easy to develop games using Unity compared with other game engines, and it's very easy to use Unity to deploy games on different platforms such as iPhones, iPads, Android phones, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. This is one of the main reasons many smaller game developers will use Unity over other game engines. So how does Unity earn its revenues? Under Unity's Create Solutions, Unity earns its revenue primarily through subscription-based licensing fees. Unity is free for you to use if you or the company you work for earns less than 100,000 of revenue using Unity in the last 12 months. This means most small developers can use Unity for free to make their own apps and games until they start making more than 100,000 of revenue each year. You will need to pay a licensing fee to Unity if you or the company you work for earns more than 100,000 of revenue using Unity in the last 12 months. For example, if you have one developer in your company using Unity, you will pay $399 each year per user under the Unity Plus plan, or $1,800 per year per user under the Unity Pro plan. Also, all of Unity's plans are royalty-free. This is very important for many small developers who have limited budgets. Under Unity's Operate Solutions, Unity earns revenues primarily through revenue sharing. This business segment contributes the most revenues for Unity. This is from the recent Q3 quarterly report. It explains how Unity earns advertising revenues on apps and games that use Unity ads. We recognize monetization revenue primarily when an end user installs an application after seeing an advertisement contracted on a cost per install basis, and to a lesser extent when an advertisement starts contracted on a cost per impression basis. Our revenue represents the amount we retain from the transaction we are facilitating through our unified auction. Here is the important part you want to know. The most important metric that will drive Unity's future revenue growth is the number of Unity customers that earn more than 100,000 of revenue in the past 12 months each year. This is because Unity earns licensing fees and the most advertising revenues from these customers. At the time of making this video, Unity's Q4 earnings are not out yet. According to the most recent Q3 earnings, Unity had 973 customers, generated over 100,000 of revenue in the past 12 months. Unity has a healthy balance sheet. For example, in the recent Q3 quarter, it had 1.28 billion of cash equivalents and marketable securities. This is more than enough to cover all of Unity's current liabilities and total liabilities. Here is the important part. Unity is a growth company, but it's not a profitable business yet. This is from Morningstar. You can see Unity had high revenue growth in the past 3 years, but it also had large operating losses. Unity also had negative operating cash flow and negative free cash flow in the past 3 years. When it comes to investing, we have to be forward-looking. So let's talk about Unity's long-term prospects before we talk about Unity's two biggest risks and Unity stock valuation. I believe Unity's first long-term growth prospect is mobile gaming growth. As of now, more than half of mobile games are developed in Unity. Management said about 70% of mobile games are made in Unity. In my opinion, I believe this trend will continue for these reasons. Many mobile game developers, especially the smaller developers, choose Unity because it's very easy to use. Unity uses the C# programming language, which is easier to use than other programming languages such as C++. Unity is free to use as long as your total value using Unity is less than 100,000 each year. Unity is royalty-free, which is very important for many developers. Unity is cross-platform. It's very easy for you to port your mobile game from one platform to another. For example, it's very easy for you to port your mobile game from the iPhone to other Android phones or to Nintendo Switch. Unity also has a large asset store and a large community. All these things combined make Unity the most preferred platform to make mobile games. This is why most mobile game developers will choose Unity over Unreal Engine or other game engines. Another thing I should mention is that over 50% of games on Nintendo Switch are made in Unity. According to the 2020 shareholder letter, management said, "Our goal is to build a company that delivers revenue growth of approximately 30% over the long run." Management also said this in the recent earnings call. "Our goal to break even on a non-GAAP operating income and free cash flow basis within fiscal 2023. For Unity to achieve a 30% revenue growth rate and break even by fiscal 2023, Unity will need to have a much larger user base that earns over 100,000 of revenue each year using Unity because these users pay licensing fees and share the most ad revenues with Unity." At the time of making this video, Unity has 973 users that earn over 100,000 of revenues annually, compared with 739 from a year ago. Personally, I believe mobile gaming will continue to grow for many years, which will benefit Unity because more developers will be using Unity to develop mobile games and applications. I believe the second long-term growth catalyst for Unity is AR and VR applications. In my opinion, I believe AR and VR devices are the next computing platforms after the iPhone. This is why Apple will likely release its Apple AR glasses in the upcoming years to compete with Facebook's Meta Quest platform. This is the important part you want to know. According to management, Unity owns about 90% on some of the AR and VR platforms. Management did not give any details about which AR and VR platforms, but based on what I know, Unity's management is likely referring to the Meta Quest platform. Facebook's Meta Quest headset is the most popular mobile VR headset that has the largest user base and the largest VR ecosystem. Based on this article here, Unity has kept the largest market share in AR and VR content at over 60%. This means most apps and games on Meta Quest headset are developed in Unity. Similar to mobile gaming, I believe most developers use Unity to make AR and VR games because of how easy it is to use Unity to make their applications available on multiple platforms. Going forward, I believe AR and VR devices such as the Meta Quest headset and Apple's upcoming AR glasses will become much more mainstream and more popular in the consumer market. Once more people use AR and VR devices, developers will want to use Unity to develop more apps and games on these AR and VR devices. I believe the third long-term growth catalyst for Unity is expanding to other industries outside of gaming. These industries include automotive, transportation, filming, animation, architecture, and engineering. This is from the most recent earnings call. Now, as Mark mentioned, we see huge opportunities for us in media and entertainment, in games, adding more seats with artists. We believe there's an opportunity in architecture. We believe there's opportunities in automotive. For those of you that have been listening to me from before we went public, or if you're listening to our roadshow, one of the points I made was we believe that we can increase potentially our revenue inside of gaming by on the order of magnitude of 10 times. How is that possible when half of the world's games or 70% of the world's mobile games are already built in Unity? And the answer to that question has always been in large part the fact that we don't have all the artists on our platform. And this is one of the answers to how we access that marketplace. The artist is the largest audience of creators in the world, and as 3D becomes the norm for consumer creators, it's going to be a staggering large marketplace for users. One of Unity's main strategies is to acquire more artists because artists are usually the largest group of creators in most game development teams. This is why Unity recently acquired Peter Jackson's Weta Digital assets, technologies, tools and engineer talents for $1.625 billion. This acquisition will bring Weta Digital's visual effects tools and technologies to Unity. This will help Unity expand to the filming industry, help Unity expand to other industries that need visual effects tools, and help Unity increase its total addressable market from 35 billion to approximately 45 billion. In my opinion, I believe Unity will have a large opportunity in the movie industry going forward because Weta Digital has some of the best visual effects and technologies in the film industry. For example, Weta Digital's visual effects and animations were used in many films such as Avatar, Lord of the Rings, Anita, Game of Thrones, and Planet of Apes. Management also said this. It explains how Unity will use Weta's tools and technologies in other industries. Weta's tools were used exclusively in-house in Weta VFX. We plan to take these tools to artists and creators across the film industry, the game industry from indies to AAA games into other industries such as automotive, architecture, and e-commerce. We plan to offer a cloud-based version of Weta for the millions of consumers who generate content every day on social and gaming platforms, and on the web or the metaverse. Let's talk about Unity's two major risks. I believe Unity's biggest risk is competition. Unity's biggest competitor is Epic Games' Unreal Engine. When it comes to AAA games, many developers will choose Epic Games' Unreal Engine over Unity because Unreal Engine tends to have much better graphics rendering than Unity. In my opinion, Unreal Engine is far ahead in photorealistic graphics rendering compared with Unity. This is why most of the largest developers and game studios will use Unreal Engine to develop their AAA games if they want to have the highest graphics quality and rendering. However, for mobile games, AR and VR applications that do not need the best graphics, most developers will choose Unity instead of Unreal Engine because Unity is much easier to use and because it's very easy to port games to other platforms using Unity. In my opinion, I believe Unreal Engine has the high chance of taking market shares from Unity in mobile gaming because developers can now use Unreal Engine for free without paying 5% royalty fees for the first 1 million of lifetime gross revenue. I believe the second biggest risk is that Unity is not a profitable business yet. This is from the recent Q3 quarterly report. We expect to continue to incur operating losses for the foreseeable future due to the investments we will continue to make in research and development, sales and marketing, and general and administrative. As a result, we may require additional capital to execute our strategic initiatives to grow our business. Unity's management said their goal is to break even on a non-GAAP operating income and free cash flow basis within fiscal 2023. As of now, Unity is not a profitable business yet and does not have consistent free cash flow yet. If Unity does not break even by fiscal 2023, Unity will likely need to issue more debts and issue more shares to finance its growth, which will dilute existing shareholders' ownerships. For example, Unity recently acquired Weta Digital for $1.625 billion. $1 billion was paid in cash and $625 million was paid in additional Unity shares. Unity had to issue $625 million of Unity shares, which diluted existing shareholders' ownerships. Unity pays large stock-based compensations to employees every quarter as shown on this cash flow statement here. This also dilutes existing shareholders' ownerships. Let's talk about Unity stock valuation. Because Unity does not have consistent cash flows yet, I cannot use a discounted cash flow DCF model to estimate Unity stock's fair interest value. In this intrinsic value calculator, I will use a comparable price to sales model to estimate Unity's fair intrinsic value. I found 3 companies that are most comparable to Unity. These 3 comparable companies are Autodesk, Ansys Inc., and Epic Games. Epic Games is Unity's biggest competitor, but it's a private company, so I don't have Epic Games' financial data. At the time of making this video, Unity's price to sales PS multiple is 30.06, which is still high. Unity's PS multiple will need to decrease over time. In comparison, Autodesk PS multiple is 12.62 and Ansys Inc.'s PS multiple is 46.09. The average price to sales multiple is 29.59. Unity has not released its Q4 earnings yet, so I can only use management's full year revenue guidance here. According to management, Unity is expected to have a total revenue of 1.08 to 1.085 billion in fiscal 2021. If we multiply Unity's 1.08 billion full year revenue guidance by the average price to sales multiple of 29.59, Unity's fair interest value should be around 32 billion for the entire company, or $109.35 per share. This means Unity stock is fairly valued or slightly undervalued at the time of making this video. In comparison, Morningstar gave Unity a much higher fair valuation of $143 per share. So will I buy Unity stock? At the time of making this video, I do not have any position in Unity stock. I will consider buying Unity stock if it becomes even more undervalued. For example, I will consider buying Unity stock if it's at least 10% below its fair interest value because I want a larger margin of safety. To reduce risk, I will only have a small position in Unity if I decide to invest in Unity, mainly because the company is not profitable yet and it does not have positive cash flows yet. Based on my estimate, I believe Unity's fair interest value is around $109.35 per share. I will update Unity's fair interest value estimate once it releases its Q4 earnings. If you want the most updated interest value estimate, you can download it in my Patreon blog in the video description. Now, all these estimates and analysis are only my opinions based on my research. They are not financial wise. Make sure you always do your research and do your extra due diligence first before investing in anything. It's important to always invest in what you know. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe and turn on the notification button. I will continue to make many excellent stock analysis and investing videos every week that will help you become a great investor. Also, if you like this channel and want to support it, check out my Patreon blog in the video description and become a premium member. Our goal is to help all members grow their stock portfolios to over 7 figures over time. With your support, we'll be able to stay independent, hire other outstanding analysts to cover different stocks, and create many excellent stock analysis and investing videos every week that will help you become a great investor. The link is in the video description. Thank you for watching this video and supporting our channel. This is Victor from the Intelligent Investor channel, and I will see you in the next video.